Hello from Philip Hawke, a place that was underwater a couple of weeks ago, but thanks to the help of a lot of local people and club members, the Halbro Selkirk Sevens went ahead. Yes, welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup. Last week we were at Poynter Park for the Kelso Sevens dramatic final, Kelso winning against Selkirk. Well, the two teams were drawn together in the first tie of the first round. Here's the story of the Halbro Selkirk Sevens.
Yes, last week's finalists were drawn together for the first match, but this time it was Selkirk who were the victors, sending Kelso in round one. They scored 7 tries in the process. Here's one of them from Lee Jones. In the rest of round one, there were wins for Edinburgh Accies, Peebles, Hawick, the Scottish Academy, Newcastle Falcons, Melrose and Watsonians. In the quarter-finals, Selkirk were too strong for Edinburgh Accies. Peebles got the better of Hawick, Newcastle Falcons put out the other guest side, the Scottish Academy, while Watsonians took the scalp of Melrose. And so at the first semi-final, Selkirk against Peebles, and after Peebles took the lead early on, Selkirk fought back to win. Here's Lee Jones with the decisive try. In the second semi, Newcastle Falcons took on a strong Watsonians team and edged them out 33 points to 26. It's always good for the tournament when you get the host team in the final, and Selkirk were looking to retain their title against Newcastle Falcons. Here's what happened with commentary from Radio Borders, Stuart McCulloch.
Skipper Neil Darling inside to Harkness. Harkness over the halfway line, he's still going strong. Harkness running on the angle. Has he got the legs to do it? All the way has to stop and check on that 22. I think even Fraser Harkness knew he had boys that were quicker coming up on him, but Eddie Goshi having a right battle there with Calders. Crockett goes in, picked up now by Nixon. Nixon then, what's he going to? In fact, it was Jones feeding it outside to Gavin Craig. Gavin Craig, great kick from him. Will he win the race? Yes, he does. Gavin Craig, good work from the Selkirk centre, and well, they're back in this final. It's Newcastle 5, it's Selkirk 5, and it's a scrum down. It's a Selkirk ball. Harkness to put inside the Falcons. 22 comes out, picked up now by Nixon. Nixon spots the gap, oh, and he's through. Nobody's at home for Newcastle, and Nixon goes through unopposed from about 18 metres out. Selkirk recycle through Crockett, out to Nixon at 10 metres inside the Newcastle half. Nixon, evades the tackle, good work from Ross Nixon, still going forward inside to Jones. Jones pins it back, and Jones is going to be in for another try with under 2 minutes to go until half time. Selkirk 17 is Newcastle 12. 5 metres out from the Newcastle trial, and picked up then from Nixon as it comes out that scrum. Nixon, if he can offload to Darling. Darling then looking up, he has to go to ground just to throw the ball back. And it's Selkirk still in the attack on that 22. Gavin Craig spots a gap as he threw it. He's still going. Gavin Craig, lovely feet for him, but he stopped about a metre short. The ball's there for Ryan Crockett to pick up. Out to Harkness. Harkness will go low. Yeah, he's not going to be caught. He's in the far right corner. Selkirk now stretching. Not letting go. Ryan Crockett goes in there as well. Play right on that Newcastle 22. The ball comes loose out, and Ross Nixon could be in for a try. And what a start in the second half. 23 seconds gone, and it's now Selkirk 27, Newcastle 12. Crockett with a loop pass out to Neil Darling. Darling takes it out to Jones. Jones breaks a tackle. Can he go all the way? No, he was caught, yeah. And in fact, the Newcastle players injured his shoulder in making that tackle. It was Michael Ellery, but Selkirk pick up, and it's that man again. Ross Nixon spots the gap, and through he goes. Through right till the end of the second semi-final, then it tipped it down, but it's got brighter. But here comes Roddy Glenn, he's just on the field of play, feeding out to Neil Darling. Darling pinning his legs back, and it's yet another. Oh, he's not touched down. He has now. Yeah, he eventually touched down, but again, it's from the start. Roddy Glenn picked up. He's getting a pat on the shoulder from Gaucher, and it's Neil Darling who took the ball on into the left-hand corner, and it's now Selkirk 41. It's Newcastle 19. McVie then hands it out to Harkness. Harkness Spins the lugs back. He's over the halfway line now. Harkness kicks ahead. The chase is on. Calder's chasing. Fraser Harkness is going to win that race. Will he get the touchdown? Yes, he does. That's going to finish it off. It's Selkirk 51. It's Newcastle Falcons 29, and it's all over as the final whistle goes here at Philip.
So that win for Selkirk means the Radio Borders Kings of the Sevens series looks like this after 2 events. Selkirk top of the table with 17, second place Kelso and Watsonians both with 10 points, fourth place Hawick on 8, and fifth place Newcastle Falcons with 7.
To beat Newcastle Falcons by 50 points is just, it's astronomical. Not another Border team will ever repeat that feat, so you know, we've got to be really pleased with what we actually did. And to be honest, you know, man of the match, but I thought, you know, Ross Nixon was tremendous in the final, and Lee Jones played well, Neil Darling led all the time, and you know, can you get all these things individually, but collectively it was a team of 10 players plus Mike Jaffrey and Kevin Barrett that won it for us today.
The Radio Borders Kings of the Sevens tournament will resume next year. Well, after the break, a look at the Scottish hydroelectric season, which begins next week. Welcome back to part 2 of Borders Rugby Roundup. Well, next week it's the start of the Scottish Hydroelectric Premiership and National League season. In Premier 1, Melrose have the long journey to Millbrae to face Ayr. That's going to be tricky. Also, Hawick go to Golden Acre to play Heriots. And here at Philippoch, Selkirk open up their Premier 1 campaign against Curry. We'll be there for that one. In Premier 2, Gala visit Biggar, Jed Forest go to Dundee High School FP, Peebles travel to Edinburgh to take on Stewart's Melville, and Kelso have a home game against Aberdeen Grammar. Well, last week we heard from the 7 Borders sides in the Premiership. This week we put the spotlight on the 3 National League teams. In National League 2 we have Hawick YM, and National League 1 Berwick, and first of all Langholm.
I don't know if the Premiership's within our sights. Certainly top 3 will be aiming for there. As I said, we've got a small squad, so depending on injuries, hopefully we'll be there or thereabouts. I think should we get into the Premiership, we would have to do a lot more recruiting, because I don't think we've got a big enough squad. But the league we're in, it's always pretty close. It has been the last 2 or 3 seasons, so we're just all going to give it 100% and see how it goes.
Hoping, basically, try to keep in the top 4 anyway. Hopefully promotion. But as I say, we're hoping that there's got to be a lot of travelling this year, so really having to really win our home games and hopefully pick up 4 or 5 in the away games, and that should probably see us up in the top 3. That's the aim for this season anyway, so hopefully it's achievable. We think it can be.
A lot of our senior players have come back to the club, sort of thing, and hopefully, you know, with that blend of senior players coming back and the youth players that have come up through the Colts, that hopefully, you know, we'll be bouncing back straight back up into the Premier League, because that's where we really want to be, that's where we really aim to be, and that's where we think we should be. So hopefully, you know, a season of just one season down in the National Leagues, and hopefully get back up next season.
Don't forget, we have many video features on our club television pages. Check them out on our website. But next week, it's the start of the season proper, the Scottish Hydroelectric Premiership and National League. We'll bring you all the news from that from a Borders perspective. Join us then.